Mm. Ooh, 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 Hey. Oh, Andy's now frozen. Do we lose him to the storm?
Oh, man.
Oh, this is getting crazy technical
This is the end.
difficulties
This is the
here
last
today. This might be
The
a
last podcast
sign.
ever. Yeah, it's all ending.
Who knows? But hey, Blasphemers, hang tight. We are going to have Queen Silvy and Smooth Tim on the show here. We're about to start right
now.
Hey, Blasphemers, welcome to Simple Blasphemy, where we have the best times with the worst topics.
We're three friends that discuss everything and nothing, from wacky headlines to games and trivia. All subjects bizarre and risque are on the table.
Our weekly guests range from friends, musicians, and artists to professionals in a variety of industries.
We go live on Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Want to support the show? Join our Patreon. You can find it and more at www.simpleblasphemy.com.
So grab a drink and join in! Join in!
It's too late now. This is Simple Blasphemy.
All right, this is the technical difficult. Oh, look at this. We've got it.
Oh, yes.
And just like that.
Thunder to go with that rain.
I like this. Now, Andy, because we are in the middle of some kind of thunderstorm here, folks. But I'm sure Andy will also be right back. Welcome to the Simple Blasphemy podcast, all you blasters out there. My name is Zach Ward, and I have here with Andy's not here right now. But he was here, right, Green? And Mr. Zach the Green Machine.
You know, I've been looking and calculating the momentum, the brake ratios, and the cars going off the cliff.
The cars going off the cliff. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All the info about this show can be found on thesimpleblasphemy.com. And if you click that like, share, subscribe button, you'll receive 5 years of what this week, Green? Come on.
Nothing.
Brake
fluid.
Okay, brake
to
fluid.
Pump those brakes so you don't go over the edge.
Perfect. As mentioned, this special week's guest is none other than Queen Silvy. How are you today?
I'm actually great. How are you guys?
That's not what you say. How are you today?
Oh, did your homework? Actually, I'm supercalifragilistic.
Okay, and Smooth.
Yeah, noches, I suppose. It's 24/7, 365. Queen Silvy, might I say, you are simply...
I know.
Amazing. Yes, you are.
Yes, I am.
There's a little bit more. Come on, there's a little bit more.
I did not receive
the check. Quit milking the cow right now.
And here's Andy, finally.
We're getting the rain, y'all. Was just talking about it. Just hit us, too.
Yeah, it's very well. Andy, he looks pleasant. Pleasantly frozen, but I'm a little sidetracked with all the technical difficulties. I had to gather myself here really quick.
Yeah, well, me too, but
we use two type of different broadcasting softwares. I had to shut the other one down. It was time.
OBS.
Yep.
All right, so we are here to talk about your show and kind of the history between you guys. I've probably only seen about 5 or 6 episodes, to be quite honest with you, because we just became acquainted not too long ago. But are you both from Toledo?
We're both from Northwest Ohio.
Okay.
Silvy's from Toledo. I'm from Bowling Green.
Okay.
So basically, the same place.
Okay. So we asked everybody 2 questions, which you guys can individually answer, of course, to just kind of get things rolling. The first question is, what is the worst job you've ever had? Ladies first.
Kirby salesperson.
Okay.
That sucks.
Is that the dude in Toledo?
Sounds like it sucked.
It does. I don't even have carpet anymore. Never. I'd rather have hardwood floors. Fuck that.
Is that the guy in Toledo though? That's like Robert spelled backwards is his name or his business?
Are you talking about Kirby?
Tober.
No,
or something?
you asked me the worst, so it was Kirby. But as far as recent, no, this is back in what I call the day.
In the Kirby days.
Mhm,
Kirby
yeah.
days. Smooth Tim, worst job you've ever had? Miles Pizza, maybe, or what do you have?
Oh, Miles would be like the best job ever. What are you talking about?
Well, not for your health, I'm sure. You know.
No, I would think I did room service at a Holiday Inn.
Oh yeah.
I mean, nobody tips. You just take the shit up. Nobody gives you anything. It is thanks. Shut the door because they're usually half naked anyhow, right? That's why they're ordering out.
I was going to ask about how clothed they were.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, do you have a funny story from those times at all that would be
Nothing that's really historical memory. No, it was just, atypical people,
yeah, you're not at home, so you're gonna treat it like it's not your home,
Right.
kind of a thing. Our second question is a little bit more on the serious side. I'm gonna eventually do a compilation of answers, but the second question is, what does equality mean to you?
Equality means to me. I'll have to think about that.
Okay.
What it means to me is everybody's given 100% on the team, and everybody's taking responsibility for the team, and everybody's buying into the team. So equality is you're sharing the pie, you're sharing the responsibilities, you're sharing the wealth.
Yes, but so much
And
has
that's for a
changed.
relationship, but that's for relationships and businesses as well. I mean, it takes a team for relationship, takes a team for business, takes a team for what you all are doing.
Absolutely. But so much has changed that you have to adapt a few things in there in order to stay solid and to make it. That's kind of like what Smooth and myself, because we both come from a couple of divorces. So coming together, we had to add a few things on there to make things work. And it's
You
been
can
great.
compare notes.
Yeah,
What went
well.
wrong?
That's amazing. So I want to play a clip really quickly. Now, this is just, I believe, a promotional video from when you guys were in Texas. And maybe we can talk a little bit about that and just figure out what your journey has been. So hold tight here, folks.
Hey, this is Queen Silvy, host of the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show.
And I'm Smooth Tim, co-host of the Queen Silvy Show. Did you know that our program features topics and talents from around the globe? You'll find us both interesting and educational.
That's right. So tune in every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time for a terrific Tuesday on The Queen Silvy Show.
Now-
Memories.
I love that shot of looking out the window to the cityscape.
Yeah, we were right down the street from AT&T with the Cowboys.
That view was directly looking at Six Flags amusement park.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were
I thought I
across
saw
the,
that.
we were across the parking lot from Six Flags. That was the old Arlington Downs Tower. They used to have a racetrack there a while.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
And then once all this other came into play, then that's when we moved to Globe Life, the Texas Rangers Stadium.
Mhm. Have you guys been to a DFW area, Arlington and specifically?
I have not been to Texas personally.
No.
I just never owned a pickup truck. Yeah.
Neither have I, and luckily we
Oh.
survived 6.5 years.
No,
so
y'all would like it. There's a lot to do, and especially
it's different in Texas.
if you're really into music, which it is boom.
Oh yeah,
off the charts.
musically it's phenomenal.
So
bet.
we're going to talk a
Yeah.
lot about music today, believe it or not. But number one, I have to get this I know everyone's looking at the screen and they're saying, how in the world do you look like you're 21 years old? Smooth Tim.
Yeah, give him a check. That was really good. That was so good.
I'm not joking. You look like you're in your 20s. What is this?
Well, you know that stuff that they plant that comes out of the ground that people usually inhale. That
helps a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Andy, anyway.
Well, it does. That
No
meditation.
idea what you're talking
Well, listen. trust me,
CBDs are good for you.
You have.
Mhm.
You have
Andy lives in Michigan, so it's
I do.
legal. It's
Okay.
what is green.
I,
So,
I do enjoy.
question number one: what was your experience in Toledo? Were you in radio? How did you get your start into the entertainment business? Was it in Toledo?
No. You know how you've heard people say sometimes you have to go outside the box to follow your dream and follow your purpose. Well, it was for me because I'm one of 8 siblings, dysfunctional family, but I have 2 children, 1 boy, 1 girl. My goal was to raise them first before I follow my dream, which has always been comedy and radio.
Mhm.
So once my mom got ill and I met Tim at the same time, which was not great because I'm a home girl, as they may say. I'm dedicated to Toledo, never left out of there for anything. But she gave the blessing. And, it was after she passed, well, Tim, make a long story short, Tim is living in Bowling Green and I'm in Toledo. My mom is very ill. So since she gave the blessing, and mind you, I've been married 3 times before, never listened to my mom. You never listen to your parents when they say something with that person. So that's another story. But meeting Tim, he bought a brand new car for me to take her to the doctor back and forth. When she died, the car died. And it was then at that time, being that my children were grown, for me to go outside the box and do my dreams.
Which took us to Texas.
Wow.
Which took us to Texas. Which took us to a talent competition.
No, which meant I had to deal with boring green. I mean Bowling Green. I had to deal with Bowling Green for 7 years till he retired.
And then hit the road.
Yeah.
And did you name him Smooth Tim, or did he?
No, that came from a guest.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
And boy, that was about the first. What was his name?
Because he tried to talk all smooth.
That was the
and
first. I
sexy.
don't try to talk.
Nothing,
smooth.
nothing to do with lotion. Just
No.
Okay.
Not
Not this time. No, they didn't. Know. I hadn't revealed that on there. No. It was something else completely.
So you guys were in BG, and you said a talent contest kind of took you to Texas. Is that what?
Yes, it did. Once we decided to make the move, we sold the house, we bought an RV, and I traveled going to Texas, but I traveled doing some stand-up comedy till I got there. And when I got there, the radio station from which the video that you showed, Fishbowl Radio Network, had a talent contest. And I did my stand-up comedy from there. From winning the contest, I was on a couple of their shows, and from there, we decided, well, this is where we were led to do, and boop, that's one off my list, radio show, and boop, comedy. So those was my purpose, and those purposes was there.
Interesting.
We lived in our RV for 4 years in Texas.
4 years we lived in the RV before we decided to settle in. We liked what we were doing there.
Yeah,
That's awesome. My question is really radio. We've had Peapod on the show here, who's had his own podcasts on the radar.
Radio.
Yeah, and Peapod was on the Zone and a number of different, same station, same company, different numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on celestial radio as it relates to, like, so many people are listening to what we do on podcasts and internet radio stations? Do you think the state of the industry is it's kind of going away like the yellow books?
Well, you know what? My thing is this: with all the stress and tension in the world today, the way marriages is being affected, and children, and the way music has an impact, the way right now your phones and the internet, then if someone is using that platform to make a difference, to be expressive, no matter which way it is or which platform, I'm all for that.
Yeah. But like radio, like specifically, since you're in it though, is it kind of one of those things it seems to me like Andy and Zach, I don't know how much you listen to radio, but it's so much more advertisements now than it used to be. It's like they have to get those ad spaces in for some reason.
It's all about money.
There is a
isn't
lot
it?
of competition. The network that we was with, some of the members, are you guys familiar with like the Skip Murphy show?
Not really.
The name rings a bell to me, but I don't think I've ever heard
They
it.
came off of the Skip Murphy show and pretty much was the nucleus of what this network we was within.
Mm-hmm.
And then they taught us the business. So
Mhm.
these people were veterans that came out of radio and that broadcast all over Texas, and it was simulcast. I'm pretty sure that it was all over the United States. If you want to know, listen to Skip Murphy in the morning.
Okay.
And I think the reason that they transitioned over there was because they see the future, what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
As you speculate, we are more internet based now. We're more ones and zeros now than we are trying to tune into 92.5, so to speak.
Right.
Absolutely.
Everything's getting so the passiveness of like TV and radio, where you would just turn on the TV and be like, well, this is on, I guess I'm watching this, even though it's 90 minutes into Ghostbusters, I'll watch the last 5 minutes of it, I guess. Or you turn the radio on and this, like, okay, this song's cool, this song sucks, I'm turning it over here. That passiveness is going away. Everybody's got the shows that they like to watch. They've got the podcasts they like to listen to.
Andy, I think I missed that
television
day and
myself.
age.
I know, and
I think I'm overwhelmed from all the
Options?
choices and options to where I don't do anything except sit and just be overwhelmed.
Isn't that a good thing? Isn't that a good thing?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's sometimes when you have too many choices, I think, I don't know, something happens. Something weird happens. I can't describe it.
So, just to cover a couple different bases here tonight, your show also talks about being award-winning and things like that. And for some people, maybe they're like, oh, that's really cool, but they never saw you actually win an award. So in that event, here we go. Here's one of your winning an award.
Go Redskins! All right, yeah, go Redskins, by the way. So your mom told me to tell you you're fired. Yeah, we need a replacement. All right. Newcomer of the year. Let's see. We got Sherry Simpson, no bad names. We got Queen Silvy with the Queen Silvy. And Ellen Hedger with the Chatterbox. And the winner is Queen Silvy.
In the event they stopped the program because of the music, I didn't think about that.
Wow, you know what? That was just 5 months into our radio show where we won our first award, Newcomer of the Year. And the message is true. You can do it by yourself, but it's better when you have someone on your team, on your side. And that's where we...
that was inspiring. That was probably what inspired us to really excel.
Yeah.
And newcomer, that kind of also solidifies the fact that you probably are 21 then. I mean, how else?
You know, you say 21, I say 16. It's raining not right now, so I'm about 65.
Well, 16. I mean, I feel sorry for Tim.
All Gladys will tell you about it, but no. It's been an honor to, be under the wings of Sammy, the owner of Fishbowl Radio Network, because she mentored us, which led us mentoring maybe a dozen shows under her network that are now award winners because of what we have done. And we just do what we do. It's not even work. It's a pleasure. And so our last award was, since we won all of the radio awards, they created an award that we still hold, which is Legacy Award. And that meant a lot to Smooth and myself. And so since we were at that point, it was time for us to branch off and do our own thing. And our own thing has led to another show on Thursdays, which is totally about people, letting them do their own thing. and we just sit back and
That's
enjoy
keeping it 100. Yeah. Sometimes it's time to move on.
Yeah. So up until you're in Texas, you're doing your show, everything's going great. You're obviously winning awards in the area. What led you? You could have just gotten the van and went to California. You could have went to Alaska or down south. What actually made you come back to the Toledo area?
Well, actually, we've been there, except for Alaska. But
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what? Sometimes things happen for a reason, and sometimes you don't know what those reasons are at that moment. But you've also heard follow your instincts. So this is our home here, and we've been away. I've been away first 7 years in Bowling Green, then 6 in Texas. So Smooth got ill. You can tell your story.
Right.
Mhm.
I ended up getting cancer, and the medical system down in Texas is kind of like lame.
Okay.
Did I say lame? Lame.
You can use stronger language if you
And
decide.
anyhow, yeah, well,
Shit.
that whole government down in Texas is kind of shit. But anyhow,
Yeah. This is simple blasphemy. You're fine.
Yes,
It's
please,
okay.
please.
so we came up here for medical reasons, and we had another grandchild that was just born.
Oh.
Awesome.
So it was kind of like 2 reasons, and I knew that we had excellent, cancer care up here in Northwest Ohio. So that was important to me, and we got into that, and they took good care of me. I am now cancer-free. Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Right.
Right
And
on.
Yeah.
What really sealed the whole thing also, it's great to bring Smooth here, get the treatment. We be near family. I used to fly to see my grandchild before this pandemic. So now I'm like, well, what am I going to do? So it worked for me to be near family. But then when some of our sponsors took care of the entire move, the studio equipment, that and Toledo City Paper caught wind and did an article, just sealed that this is now where we want to branch off and create more goals and make a mark here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, this is an interesting opportunity simply because we both create content. That's what we do here on Tuesdays, as a matter of fact. And before I forget, we might as well put this up here. The Queen Silvy Show. You guys go live every Tuesday in the afternoon, correct?
Yes, every Tuesday from 11 a.m. No, excuse me, 12 p.m. to 2. I'm still thinking it's
Texas time. Get off Texas.
It's thequeensilvyshow.com. I believe there's another .com comedy version, right? Is it
Yes, there is.
They both go.
Queen
Yes,
Silvy
they both go to the
comedy
same thing.
and,
Yeah.
The Queen Silvy Show. Yeah, it's got a couple of different ways you can get to it.
Tim was thinking about me one day and just decided to make, the QueenSilvyShow.com. I was like, okay, go ahead, boo boo. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's in the description too, folks. So if you're on Facebook and or YouTube, I believe I put the Facebook, the website, and the YouTube all in the description. And if you're listening and you have any questions, such as Julio is with us again here tonight, feel free to fire away. So the question is, you content. We have a unique experience right now that we could talk to you guys making content. People don't understand how much time and work and love goes into these things. What's your experience through that?
Well, you know what? This experience for me is so it's calming because it's my creation and it's doing what I always wanted to do, and I'm following my purpose. So if I can't sleep, I'm up working. If I'm bored doesn't exist. I'm creating, and I'm always there to make a difference in a million ways. So there's my piece.
It has to be like a hobby that you really want to do. And you need to be able to sit there and say, I'm going to spend 2 to 3 hours a night to make sure that I'm getting enough practice in so that this content that we're speaking on is what the audience wants.
Oh, well, they know because I want to give hats off to you all three because, you did your homework. That's from one professional to another.
And that's all part
I'm
of
very
it.
impressed, and I appreciate
for that.
having us on the show. You show some great memories that's just going to make me cry. Later on. Not right now, but later.
Maybe later. But you know what, though? That's just the start of it, right? We started the Toledo Podcast Society. I mean, to be honest with you, our biggest audience is in India, so I apologize for making it so regional here today. But in Toledo, Ohio, I started just a Facebook page, not really trying too hard because there isn't a whole lot of us that make content here in the city, but there's a good handful of us that do that. And we've also talked about doing some kind of small convention or get together, get all the podcasters to come together and kind of do a thing to show the city of this side, this more
absolutely,
newer thing that's happening. There's a little bit of that happening here in the town. And that's how we met. So having said that and moving on into the show, where do you guys see, like, what's the elevator pitch, I should say, for people that have not seen your show yet?
What's the what?
What's like the elevator pitch? Like, if you were to nutshell what you do on a weekly basis for those that haven't seen your show just yet.
Well, if you haven't seen the show, there's plenty of podcasts. We're everywhere. We've not just begun. We've been doing this for 6.5 years now. So there's plenty to go and see. And, that's all I can tell you because, my first thing is if you can make a difference to just that one. Mm-hmm. And I know I exceed that. And not only that, it's just that every guest you can't find in 6.5 years, not one guest
because we're
who will say anything bad from us just being authentic and them having a great conversation and we sharing what it is that they do.
It's the uniqueness too, because a person can come to our podcast and they can catch content, whether it be poetry, spoken word, whether it be music, whether it be an author talking about how to write a book, whether it be a financial person talking to you about your finances, whether it be a fitness person talking to you about fitness. It is unique and it's never going to be the same. So that's how we keep it from being boring.
Yeah. And I think the last episode you had a rapper from Africa.
South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
We always have rappers from South Africa. We have one that's from Johannesburg, South Africa, who a couple years ago was on the Queen Silvy Show, and his next song that he wrote in Smooth Tim and Myself. So the whole interaction with these guests has just been a blessing for us for just doing what it is that we love doing. And we love United Kingdom, the Kingdom of Tonga, Africa, Australia, Sydney, and these are all live. So there's a time difference that they're so dedicated in their passion. They get up or stay up at whatever time it is, and so do we to make this happen live.
And but you pay attention to your analytics too, and you can see where it's going on and who's listening. And if you're muted, and then you got to think to yourself, can I give somebody in that country that they're muting my content an opportunity to get his content out to me?
Right.
That makes sense because a lot of them are stifled. A lot of countries stifle content, and these people can't get it out. So give them an avenue.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you guys have any other questions before Andy, Zach? Yes, no, maybe so.
No, I'm absolutely fascinated. This is awesome.
All right.
Mellow, chill. I like that.
So before we move on any further with discussion, I have found a couple videos of aspiring musicians, and why don't you guys just give us, I'm not going to play the full video, but why don't you just give us a take on what you think, and maybe they potentially being on your show. Who knows? Are you guys ready?
Oh, no.
Here we go.
Let her roll.
No idea.
Take her out, cocaine.
In the pocket, baby.
If you wanna get down on the ground, cocaine.
The drummer looks so sad.
She don't lie, cocaine.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I've heard
no
people.
cocaine before you perform.
Yeah, don't do that.
That was interpretive art.
A lot
That
better.
was genius.
Do you think that wouldn't cocaine speed things up though? I think that
I think that they
there's
let me just say this. I've never turned down anyone, whether they're paying, whether a sponsor has paid for a slot and then they get on the show free. I've never turned anyone down because
Give them all a chance.
So this guy and okay, we'll have a conversation, and I'm going to bring up.
Yeah, we'll figure out what the hell was wrong with him.
Perform that fucking way.
I think it's actually
I will
genius.
provide some resources for him. Perhaps he needs to go.
Yeah, that's what we're all about, helping you out.
What happens if
Metronomes
that's,
for everybody.
that's the new jazz? That's the new jazz. That could be on the cutting edge of what's coming around tomorrow.
Way above all our heads.
I'm all for it.
Are you guys
in music? It can be anything. I used to go. My mom said, "Go outside and play." We have 8 brothers and sisters. We have to go outside and do something. So I would get sticks, and this is how it started for me. Just flicking the sticks and coming up with my own beat. Next thing you know, I'm tapping on cans. Laugh if you want to, but music is phenomenal, and it doesn't take experience to do it. It just takes that effort to grasp hold of just how powerful music can be.
I say that same thing about art and painting. Anybody can do it. Don't be bashful.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I love art.
Well, we messed around, took sound creation, and that's our intro. We was just playing around.
I'm surprised you don't have one of those on. You know, we can all do one if you want. Sound creation.
Now, well, did you? Speaking of jazz, though, are you guys fans of jazz at all?
All music genres we are in love with.
Okay, so Rusty's Jazz Cafe. Did you used to go in Toledo when it was here?
I've heard of Rusty's Jazz Cafe, but I did not. You know, I had the type of past marriages that it was like your home. Those type of things and going out. I was a square girl, virgin till 18. I didn't play that, you know. So no, I've heard about it.
I forget the name. The place that I used to go downtown there, and they used to have the drop-ins. That it wasn't Rusty's.
It's right on the corner of
Murphy's.
Murphy's. Right. I used to go to Murphy's. Yeah, that was it.
What was that one with the big mural on the side of the building in Toledo downtown, the jazz club?
No,
it's a big painting on the side of the old whatever it was, a jazz cafe or whatever.
It's a little more common now. That it's hard to say.
I think we're talking the different ones.
I know that Murphy's moved, and they moved down onto the riverfront, and they had a logo on the side, like
it was like some type of big painting on the side of the building.
Yeah,
and that's the first thing I noticed when we went and came down here looking for a house and visiting and stuff. And but by that time, the place was already defunct.
Talking over near Secor.
No. He's
on the
in
river.
Downtown
Summit.
Oh, it was on because Sylvie doesn't know.
Down on Summit.
Yeah, it was by the famous Toledo clock.
Yeah.
I just looked like a cool place. It's like, I want to go there.
Oh,
it's already closed.
If for good drop-ins, in that kind of, well, I guess that's not necessarily jazz, but I used to like Heinz
Griffith Farm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Never been there.
Oh, that's actually, if you're in the area, that's actually pretty cool hang, to be honest with you. It's a little out there, but it's a lot of fun.
About all those places, but I've never been to there, never will experience it. But the ride that I've been having over these past 6.5, 7 years can never top. Nothing can top it. The experience.
Don't say we can never get better than it's been.
The communication. Oh my God, it's just been absolutely a blessing.
It's been phenomenal.
We've had an actor, a director of a movie many years ago on the show. So the next movie he wrote me, the Queen Silvy Show, in it. Since then, Smooth has been doing these short documentary movies on YouTube that's like millions views right now.
Ridiculous.
Voiceover jobs. A lot has come from just doing what we're doing. There's
a lot of opportunities that come the way of the people as long as you're marketing yourself out there as you do.
Yeah, and being a good person, I found, is a cornerstone for success. I've learned that in life. If you're a good person, things tend to kind of happen. If you're not a good person, a lot of opportunities don't come your way.
I can only be me.
Yeah. So you said you had hardships in a previous marriage and all that business. What kind of advice would you give to somebody about being married and or settling with somebody, that if you've had some hardships, or if you were kind of don't put baby in the corner kind of a thing, what advice would you give to somebody that is in those situations?
So much advice.
We don't have that much time.
You have
do we?
time for all this? No, seriously, because the gap has changed in my 3 previous marriages and now. And so to add that on, I would say do your homework, because you now have access to gain any information or endpoint. Don't just hear them in the side of your neck saying, girl, he was just, no, do your homework, because even homegirl don't even know what's going on. And I say that from my last marriage, honestly, because although he was 20 years older than me, he was a workaholic. And I mean, workaholic, and it just happened on his day off. He's writing to his brothers. The cops from another county come at my door, say, hey, you're never going to see him again. And I never have, because they said he lived a different life. Yeah, I didn't do much work. He was a murderer, rapist, a whole life. That's it. So that taught me, like, yeah, I better. And when I met Tim and found that he was a past cop, I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Wow.
And Tim was like, well, you better do your homework on me. And I certainly
Google
did.
me. When she was like, she goes, well, I need to know about you. I said, well, Google me. I said, everybody's Googleable.
Yeah, I mean, do you also like dig a couple holes in the backyard just to see if there's anything, kind of?
Nah. But listen, on the advice, not only just do your homework, you have to, I don't know, trust your instincts, because I had my inklings. There was a time where I slept out on the couch because something told me don't fucking sleep in the bed. And I didn't sleep in the bed because at the head of the bed there was a fucking ice pick. You feel me? Yeah. So follow your instincts and follow your mode, because with Smooth I did my homework, and do your freaking homework by all means.
Yeah, sometimes follow your instincts instead of your heart.
And
exactly.
Listen, if we have a problem with you being you, you know what I'm saying? If they can't accept you and you can't be you, it's not freaking worth it.
Right.
And Smooth and myself have so much in common, and it's amazing that we've lived our whole life together, past each other, never until that moment. It's amazing. And the communication is a key. If you can't fucking communicate nowadays, there's a million ways to do it. Not just put a stamp on the envelope. These days you can do it quicker. You know what I mean? There's so many ways. It's so important. I kid you not, when it comes to a marriage. And I've learned that, Mama was right. That's what I say.
Okay. Well,
that's Tim. That's great.
Can you speak upon somebody settling? I think that when you're younger and you haven't been through life, you'll notice that you maybe not that you notice, but you can kind of, from an outsider's point of view, see that in relationships, that person's settling. We have so much technology today, like you said, we have so much information thrown at our face. At some point, of course, you got to give in a little bit. You're two different individuals, especially, male, female, I mean, any human for that matter, to be quite frank.
Compromising.
But yeah, there's always going to be some, I mean, you need a little peanut butter and jelly. You don't want to just 2 pieces of peanut butter bread, right? At least not everybody. Yes.
But speak for yourself, man.
Right? I'm like, yeah,
it's like a regular old peanut butter sandwich.
No,
I like peanut butter honey.
Point. If you don't want to settle, you want somebody that's going to support the direction that you're going. And if they can't run a parallel course, and you're not always going to be doing the same. Come on, I mean, we have our difficulties, and then we have when we come together. I mean, it's unbelievable what we can achieve as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the key is, you have to be you. And if you're settling and that person's stifling whatever your desires are or whatever your achievements that you'd like to aspire to, I'd advise you to get the hell out of it.
Yeah. And what's your guys' go-to if you have an, lover's squarm or an argument? Is there a simple trick that you guys have that kind of puts that flame out?
That does not even
happen. How it works.
I tell you, the reason why we don't have arguments or fights like that is because I'm always right.
There you are.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, my wife is
always right. Don't argue with me. That's it.
See, no, and then I can just come into the studio here and plug in and just play some heavy metal. And
Absolutely.
take
Because-
it out on my guitar, right?
Absolutely, because part of being together, not just friends, off the top. When you decide to take your toothbrush into their crib, you better have your own space.
That is key.
When things get a certain way, you have to have your own space. I don't care if it is the closet decorated with your speakers on the wall, whatever. Have your own space. I do yoga, plus I have my own space, and so do Smooth. It is so important.
And there's communication, even when there's not communication. She might be in her space and the door's closed. The door might come open, which means everything's cool. She's cool. Let's get back together and figure this shit out.
Nice.
Learn. You just fucking learn.
You learn.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Your
it's
respective
not worth,
corners.
it's not worth.
Mm-mm.
It's not worth it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I've learned that I love this. One of the best parts about getting older is you start to kind of figure this stuff out, and I really feel it for the younger kids. Andy's going to school right now to be a counselor. He's just about wrapping it up.
Oh,
Hey,
Which we certainly need more of that. But I really feel sorry for I have a 17-year-old daughter, and this whole
it just made me older. Yes.
well,
you were saying?
I'm just saying, yeah. Well, yeah,
I have a 20-year-old.
yeah,
Okay.
wow.
Stab me more. What else? Okay.
yeah.
Good for you.
That's usually the one I have up my sleeve.
I have a
Yeah.
granddaughter that's
That means you're paying
19
for
in
college.
right?
Yeah.
I have two granddaughters that's in college. The first one started college at 16 for
Wow.
chemical engineer.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know,
That's
Look
fucking
at it.
amazing.
So you guys are making me real old, but you look very great. All of you. I can't believe you have a child that old, either of you.
20, huh?
Right?
Mhm.
I'd find that one hard to believe.
And you're
I'm 41.
Toledo, where they have this water. I'm telling you, Toledo need you,
some
me,
water.
and everybody else that's doing these type of shows on the real. There's people out here that's sitting at home depressed right now. People at home that don't have their job, that's going through so much. That's what Thursday show is about. Sit at home for 5 minutes and just talk about it, or share what it is that you're going through. And every week, just come and we just produce and do it because people need it.
They need that outlet.
They do.
This is you guys. And I mean, you guys met at a podcasters convention, right? Is that how I thought and heard you?
No,
Oh,
no.
really?
Even
we all work
weirder.
together.
You just
Yeah,
worked
we all work together.
and had the same interest and said, "Hey, let's do this shit."
It was, you know what? I have to go ahead and take the floor here for a second.
Take it, babe.
Zach Ward does 98% of all of the work.
Yeah,
He was the one that would come into my office,
all
go
him.
back to where Zach,
Yes,
or go
I
back to where
know.
Zach was at, and he would say, "So we starting a podcast?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to start a podcast." "So we're starting a podcast." Like, "No, I don't want to start a fucking podcast." "Come on, we're gonna start a podcast." Well, a few years later, we started a podcast. How many episodes? 250,000.
177 today.
All
All
right.
right.
All
That's
right.
all.
All right.
And he graciously allows Green and I to occupy a seat.
Okay, well, I wouldn't go
And
that
he
far.
asks- but he asks us, you do such a good job.
So
I
here's-
do an appreciation monologue about Zach Ward at least once a season.
And it was basically, this whole thing was inspired about our before work conversations,
I love it.
hanging out in the office and just shooting the crap.
Man,
And
let me tell you,
they're like,
not
"Oh, we gotta make a
just
podcast of this."
other, but they also need a good friend. You know what I'm saying? On the
Right.
outside that you can go to and talk to or listen, whatever is needed from that person. The world is really going through so much right now. I'm going to most definitely share your show out. I appreciate, I really do appreciate you guys having us on, because right now I'd probably be in bed. I'm old.
Oh no! Well,
It's my bedtime.
we're with Julio is in the chat. We met him. He's been on the show. He's with us almost every Tuesday, and there's a cast of other characters out there that chime in. And we consider, Andy coined it. This is our bowling league. We get together every Tuesday. I'm sure you can relate.
Right.
Yes.
But yeah, like Zach said, it's literally just stems from, it's like we've had conversations at work that were just too much fun and funny, and sometimes really serious too. It's like we should just be doing this on a podcast thing. So
It was
that's
kind of something, because we would get interrupted with our conversations because we'd actually have to go back to work.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, so we got only a couple more minutes here, folks.
Already?
Well, this
Yeah,
stuff
really.
goes by all too fast.
It
I
does.
have
Jesus.
one more video of a potential musical guest for you, and we're gonna see what you think about this.
Oh, Nelly.
Hey, are you going to sing?
Yeah, but it's not a song. It's my life. It's my life. It's my life. It's my life, whatever I wanna do. It's my life, wherever I wanna go. It's my life, whom I wanna love. Oh.
That was enough.
Yeah.
There's too much auto tune. You lost me with the auto tune.
What do you want to do? Listen, I told you, any way you can communicate and get it out. He's probably crying for help, and you don't
Believe it or not,
he's getting it out through music.
as much as we try to do things and have a laugh in the lighter it's really good. I mean, it's actually good stuff, right? If you go to his YouTube channel for his music, which he has many songs, has millions of views. So I have no room to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
No, I was digging it.
full disclosure,
No, I mean, it was not bad whatsoever.
I
It was,
interview. I turn no one down.
and
It was better than cocaine.
Right.
even when we listen to
He had
the
good work. What?
South African rappers, it's different than us.
Mhm.
So you can't expect music to transcend into different countries and stay unique. It needs to grow.
you know, America sometimes has a pretty reputable, hey, they're American, whatever, music, things like that. What do some of these artists that are overseas, how do they feel about somebody from America trying to, just give a platform to a new group of people that haven't heard their stuff before in another country? What's your experiences with that?
It gives them the experience of being, first of all, interviewed, and then secondly, felt like they are that level, another level of a star, that someone is paying them some attention. You're giving them exposure as well. You're creating friendship. You're being able to network. It's so much, and I learn every time, so it doesn't matter from United Kingdom, Kingdom of Tonga, the Netherlands. We've had them from Australia, anywhere. We're gonna make it happen, because that person, you can't judge anyone for what they're doing.
That's
and
right.
if it's positive and you're trying to make a platform to help them, why not?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what that networking does.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That networking pays dividends.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
I really like
can't wait.
the use of quarter tones in that last song. I get really tired of Western music sometimes, and the introduction of those quarter tones really does it for me.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm
Too much
not kidding you,
damn
man.
auto-tune.
I can work with that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can dance to it. So hey.
Love it.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm doing my laundry to it. Listen, I jammed.
I can't remember what the website is. Andy, maybe you might recall, but there's an Earth, and you can spin the Earth and put your cursor over countries and cities, and you
Yes.
will literally get that city's radio broadcast. And if Andy remembers, my favorite
can't
was
remember
India.
Oh, technology.
I loved listening
Yes.
to
It's
Indian
kinda
music.
like Google Earth, but yeah, it's for radio.
Andy, could you find that for me? If you,
It's kind of slick.
it's like celestial radio or something or other. But
Radio Garden.
yes, that's what it is. Radio Garden. Talking about, I mean, you can go over to Russia, you can slide down to any part of the globe and hear kind of what's going on. It's fascinating. It's a roulette, no pun with the Russia. It's a lot of fun. I encourage anybody to do it.
And there's nothing like Bulgarian wedding music. Those guys are badass. If you've ever been to a wedding like that, they are the instrumentation incredible.
Well, there's a mood out there for that music too. So hey, yeah.
All right. So we've talked about music. We've kind of danced around other people's music and things like that. Tim Smooth, sorry. Do you create your own stuff? What do you play? Are you a multi-instrumentalist, or what do you do?
No, actually, I had played the guitar a little bit when I was a young kid. That we had a couple of bands in our neighborhood, and I hung out with the younger brothers, and then the older brother teaches you a few chords here and there, so you think around. But I never really took it seriously until I got back. Until we went down into Texas. And then I got to meet some of these Grammy winners, and I'm watching them play, and I'm like, wow, I wish I could play like that. And they're like, oh, I'll show you how. Come on over to the house and chill out. We'll have a couple of beers, and I'll teach. And it's like, and I got to run into some very famous people that taught me a lot of stuff. I could never afford to pay that.
Yeah.
And they did. I mean, on the real,
right on. And I play the spoons, by the way.
But yeah, and that's why I said it's all about the networking. And what you said, Zach, is from the spot on. Is be nice to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Queen, do you sing then at all, or?
Silly, only in the shower, and so I just keep it personal.
Keep it personal.
That's your own thing. That is for you.
Only in the shower. Water has to be.
You can keep a good rhythm, so when we're playing around, she can keep a good rhythm.
No, I like making music with anything. I mean, anything. And we do sound creation on the show sometimes, where all the guests, we come together. Each guest make a sound, and they keep doing it, and the other one join in, and together we create our own sound. In fact, the intro sound for Thursday's show is Smooth and myself making that. I'm making it with my mouth, and he's playing the guitar, and together we made that.
Yeah, so we do studio mixes and overdubs with the stuff, and it was fun.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
So I think I've missed the biggest question, and I'm sure that we're gonna get hundreds and thousands, if not tens of thousands, of emails. Where did the Queen portion of you happen, and how did you get that title?
Did you self-coronate?
Actually, when we traveled and got down
personal.
to
it's self-coronate.
Don't worry about it. But anyway, Richard, that I'm going to tell you is once we got down to Texas and did the contest for Fishbowl Radio Network. When I started my own show, I had to come up with a title, and I had already been contemplating Queen Silvy, just coming from 3 marriages and number 4, that I would have it no other way. There's other marriages where I wasn't me, and I'm going by your rule. I'm sitting at home when I could be at the jazz club or something. I kept that inside and just geared it towards other visions and goals. But you just have to be yourself. And I lost my train of thought. Blame it on the butt.
It just came about. It came about in comedy. That was your stage name in comedy.
Right.
And then
so
as we went into radio, it's like, we call it the Silvy and Tim show, or the Tim and Silvy show. And then we had that huge argument. You know how that goes.
It was a small argument because I'm always right.
That's right. And so we decided upon the Queen Silvy Show.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even get
And so Smooth, you see how we work together, that he has numerous awards for co-host of the year, aside from show of the year, female host of the year, legacy award, VIP, all of them except for the Christian categories.
Yeah, we didn't quite cut it in the Christian categories.
I don't think we do too good in those categories either.
Yes, but I just want you to know that I do believe.
I flunked religion in 7th grade.
I didn't even have it.
In fact, we even have a pastor on our show, and he'll be coming back once a month. And you all know Lee Powell. He founded Cedar Creek Church.
Okay, yeah. I've never met him, but yeah,
he's one of our regulars. Lee's an excellent, wonderful man, and all through networking, it comes your way.
We have
You
a
know,
financial dominatrix that comes on every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. But listen, at the beginning of the show, you made a
what
comment
night
about
is that?
money.
Hang on, let me mute your headset. When is that? Spells?
Right, let him get away with it tonight. Okay, but guess what? He got to go to sleep. But no,
yeah, what was your question?
you said something earlier, one of you, about money, about online and making money, but everyone makes money. When you turn on TV, they can use sex to get you to go buy pop. So at some point you have to charge, and sometimes we have guests that advertise. We every month, come on, do your whole thing. But it's going to cost you. I mean, we do a lot free, but that's because sponsors kind of take care of it.
You have to be able to
After 6
monetize
and
a
7
little bit.
years, you should be making money. Okay, I give breaks here and there, but let's keep it real. We all like money, and if I can be making it at home doing what I like,
What a better way to do it,
right?
Yeah, and I don't
think to get money, you don't have to go out to the bank all the time. Now, just beep, there it is. That's why I love Worldwide.
And there's more than one way to skin a cat. You don't have to wait till I get 1 million views on YouTube to get my $1,000 thing.
Right. And we can't demonize people making money. It's we've been humans have been doing that ever since they traded potatoes for a steak or two.
The first transaction was obviously sex for food.
Oh, clearly had to have been
what he said. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, where else did wet nurses come in? May I test your work, ma'am?
Oh, dear.
Bad joke.
Oh,
but
my.
I had to have one bad joke at least.
You know what? You're
I
right.
don't mean
You
in a
are right.
way when I say about money, but I mean, I do take advantage that what I do may be my purpose and a pleasure, but it's also a business. Right. And you get people that copy what you do, and that's okay. You become the blueprint. We've done that for many years. We've mentored shows. We make shows once a month and gather and have it. We do what we have to do, so that's going to happen. You just have to still stay in your lane and do you. So, sometimes you get people that want to milk off you. That's all right. But as far as making some money to pay for certain things, come on, what do you think you're worth?
Mm-hmm. All I know is that anytime I introduce money to a passion of mine, I ruined it. I hate to fucking say that, but it fucking ruined it.
It's the way. That's all. It's the way.
First
I am
off,
very creative. So, yep.
You got to figure out.
That's why I give my fucking paintings away for free.
You got to distinguish the need, then you got to be able to fulfill the need, and then you got to get them to buy in on the need, and then bingo.
And listen, there was years ago an author who had a book who wanted to be on the show. She couldn't at the time because of her children and the court battle with the divorce pay at that moment. So I said, pay what you can, send it to here. She paid $1, and in 6 months to a year, she blew up. And then threw a girl down, paid it forward, let's just say. But sometimes you have those people where that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be the one to help them, to mentor them, to boost them, to make them feel a certain way, to take them to another level, to make them feel like, yes, I'm in it to win it.
Mm-hmm.
It made an awful movie. It made an awful movie, but I believe in that saying wholeheartedly. That is like my motto is pay it forward.
Absolutely. And that's what absolutely.
I agree. Well, folks, we've pretty much reached the end of this show. I do want to once again, and also for the audio listeners, Queen Silvy is on our show with Smooth Tim. You can find her at Queen Silvy, QUEENSILVY at comic.com and or thequeensilvyshow.com. And you know what, folks, let's just be real. All of us low on the totem pole YouTube people love the subscribe button. It doesn't take much. You're not even obligated to watch every single video. Just pick and choose the topics that you are into.
Right.
But we really appreciate it. And if you want to take it one step further, share it with a friend. I mean, we don't really talk on that level about it too often, but trust me, in our heart of hearts, that's what we're saying every time we put shows together. And I think you guys obviously will agree on that.
Absolutely. You guys are really great. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for coming on.
at the beginning.
Absolutely.
Having patience,
Having
nevertheless.
patience
No
with
problem.
us.
No problem.
It was having a conversation with you guys. We need to connect. You need to let me know where the band's going to play so we can come and pop in.
Check you guys out.
Absolutely. We will be in touch on Facebook, and I also encourage everybody to find them on Facebook too. That's where their videos are hosted live as well. Other than that, next week we have Kane Loke. Believe it or not, he's got a lot to say next week. Apparently, there might or might not have been some rehab, and the reason why we haven't seen him for so long. So please stay tuned for that. Here we go. Julio, way to go. Thanks, Tim and Sylvie, for their time and good vibes. Have a great rest of the week. Folks, we'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.